Is love really all it takes to keep family together?
You don't let me speak and I'm gonna call you a cunt.
That's my right. Get out of my house, Angel. Release yourself from my house. That is my right by law. You are not on my lease. Leave my house.
Okay, guys, a little update.
And this is my mom.
Yep.
This is my mom.
Yep. Because you want to see your
Because I'm having a panic. Yep, because I'm very exhausted. I'm so tired.
Today, we're going to figure out whether or not one's love is all that it takes to keep their family together, or is it just a bunch of hoopla? We're going to be getting into familial ties, parental styles, and where do we come to play in all of it? Hello and bienvenue to my channel. My name is Marnita, and this is the side of the internet where media literacy thrives and critical thinking derives us to see the truth of things. If that sounds like a place you like to be, do choose to stay and subscribe and like by the end of the video, only if you desire to do so. So, Spotlight, World War I.
Jingle, jingle.
Stay with me now. This is brief, but it's important, okay? Costume change. Don't talk about it. It's been a long time. Don't talk about it, okay? Because this shit took long as hell. Usher in World War I, where the duration and effects caused much unease and disdain within American society, as well as the overall public consciousness. Because even when the war was over, there was still more shit to fear, at least according to the American people at the time. We saw women's suffrage, pushed by the realization that all women had to take on the roles of the home fronts during the First World War. There was the Great Migration, the Red Scare, aka America's live demonstration of racism and xenophobia, but I digress. Where the mental stress of either having to fight in the war or be a part of the structures that supported said war left everyone involved in disarray. With danger feeling like it's going to always be an imminent threat, parenting looks like instilling high values, high morals, self-discipline, self-advocacy, and overall self-autonomy, or just, I guess, basic autonomy. Less on the intent of the children's emotional well-being and more on the children's well-being of being able to live. Since parents who continuously live with the fear that their children might be exposed to trauma, such as themselves, can become overprotective and excessively restrictive of their children's behaviors. It was very common for parents to be nearly over-involved in their children's lives, since many worked alongside their parents within farm laboring and sometimes industrial work. Daughters and sons were trained and expected to behave as young women and men before puberty was even reached. One can only imagine what such pressure and expectations does to the premature maturity of an adolescent. I don't want to imagine. Now, World War II was like adding insult to injury. Families that were still recovering from the First World War, let alone the Great Depression, were now being subjected to it all over again. The women were back, having to hold down barely standing forts, whilst the men were being subjected to so much trauma that bringing it back in the form of PTSD was inevitable, which they didn't even really know what that was back then. It was like a full-blown crisis mode where everyone involved, mama, cats, dogs, grandpa, uncle, bird, were all trying to salvage whatever sanity and stability was left. And once the dust settled and cleared, there still wasn't nearly enough mental health to provide the children with the TLC that they needed. As the parents with these mental health problems might have found issues struggling to emotionally regulate themselves, possibly reducing their ability to regulate their children's emotional state. Without such warmth, leading to cold and hostile bonds within families. However, one implicit consensus amongst everybody was that their next kin, the ones who followed after such immense devastation, would not be subjected to any of these travesties, that they would be given the lavish life that the silent and GI generations were actively denied due to economic falls. It was agreed. This was gonna be it. We're done. That we shall indulge the next generation with whatever they please, with everything that they need, and so much more. We shall be more lenient. We shall treat them like a human being. Nothing, if anything, will be denied. Usher in the 70s or the 90s. So now, instead of the fallout of the aggressive behavior from the effects of war.
What was that?
I guess we should talk about this guy too. I don't feel like introducing him. I'm gonna let that be somewhere else. Real clip.
No, George Washington is the father of our country. But there is a man here who comes in a close second. As a father, I will tell you. This man's book is only outsold in the history of books by one other. The top-selling book in the world is the Bible. The second bestseller belongs to Dr. Spock, his books on child care. Lately, Dr. Spock has widened his range and often speaks out about politics and our foreign policy. And he is here today. Would you welcome Dr. Benjamin Spock?
Enter Benjamin McLean Spock, better known as Dr. Spock, who was an all-around publicly acclaimed figure. He had graduated from Yale University and would later go on to pursue a career in pediatrics with a side of psychiatry. He was so special because there weren't many before him to really study children's psychology warmly and engagingly. There wasn't one who had such acclaim and notoriety at this point, rather than, well...
Come on, man, just tell me who your crush is. Your mom. It is quite insignificant.
Freud was interested in where is the origin of neuroses. I was interested in the other side of it, how do children grow emotionally.
Even though some would later say that much of his work was anecdotal, it had already caught on with the masses. The publication of his book, The Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care, in 1946 would be a hit, taking off mainly due to the famous empowering parental line of, "Trust yourself, you know more than you think you do," giving parents a soft encouragement that they might have been previously missing, allowing them to bring that same softness to their child care. Breathing in less rigidity and more equality between parent and child, thus changing the trajectory of parenting for forever. So now, instead of the fallout of aggressive behavior from the effects of trauma being inflicted onto the children by their parents, arose the exact opposite, where those who instilled the iron fist for forms of discipline began being outnumbered by more permissive and lenient styles. With the works and messaging of Dr. Spock, paired with newly passed legislation, there is more humanization of children.
And now, here's a word from today's sponsor.
What's for supper? Can't you see that I'm on the phone? Hold it down, I just got home. Isn't it enough that I work all day? At least you get a chance to get away. Dishes, diapers, dirty rags. Bosses, bills, and that. Shut up, kids, you're in the way. I'm so mad I can slap your face.
Did I do something wrong?
Have you hugged your kid today? Did you send him on his way? With love, 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 love. She's a person just like you.
Have you hugged your kids today? A campaign by Jack Lewis, a Kentucky state government official who sought to bring forward daily affection from parents towards their own children. This garnered national attention at the time, driving home the idea of treating kids like humans, and some would argue allowing society to see adults and kids as equal, depending on the families you talk to at the time. Also, not every single guardian or parent was letting their children roam the streets as they please, but the "because I said so" way of teaching became less and less favorable. A more free-range approach took its place. Be home before the streetlights, wear your jacket, and a packed lunch if financially able to provide was all kids got before being sent along their way to school or encouraged to go outside and play for hours on end without a count. This quickly became a hands so far off approach, another room approach, that it seemed that the parents weren't even really there.
And now, here's a sponsor from today's word.
7 p.m. Did you hug your child today?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
This being around the same time in which the second of the most iconic campaigns were birthed. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? A late-night TV public service announcement that aimed to remind parents to check the pulse of their existing children. So, where does all of this leave us today? I would like to think, just like everything else, it leaves us with an amalgamation of everything from the past plus tax. Parenting styles still have the variety, just like parents themselves. The thing is, though, is not every generation of parents were starting at the same playing ground as the previous or the next. This allows for emotional gaps that can sometimes look like the continuation of the forgetfulness of the past.
But you act like I'm gonna blow my own stuff.
She just think that she got everything mapped out because she don't get a job. She like, mama, I can't
me, and you can't be there for me. And I just want you to know that you don't need to call the police at 12 at night, and you don't need to take it.
So we've come to realize that our love is simply not enough, nor can it change what has or will happen. Well, then what are we supposed to do now? It's a loaded question. First, acceptance. Accept what has happened and accept the fact that you can't change what did happen. The years of decisions that weren't your own, or the years of decisions that were yours based upon others' actions. It's different from accountability, but good chances are if you're in a predicament where you are questioning yourself, well, you need to at least start with accepting everything that has happened before you can move forward. Second, and it sounds cliche, but it's necessary, start with turning that love that you were attempting to give to your parents or your family back towards yourself, since that love can be such an immense catalyst for change. You don't realize how powerful that love is until you start giving it back to yourself. Because sometimes the people who are closest to you can't give you what you want. Most importantly, can't always give you what you actually need. Third, well, that's truly up to you to decide. Because once you accept and once you start kind of getting back the love that you were graciously giving to your family, the next step is really up to you. It's now whether or not you would like to, I don't know. It's up to you. It's your step. Are you going to be the person that causes change within the family, a ripple effect by you doing something outside of the lines of what's expected of you, or are you simply going to worry about your own individuality? It sounds incredibly daunting, sure, but it doesn't have to be. Just like you've navigated the systems of your inner family mechanics without any blueprint and you've managed to get this far, imagine how much further you could get if you build the blueprint of your own life. You aren't what you've been through, and nor did you deserve to have to go through what you had to endure. Of course, what's been discussed today might not apply to everyone. Everybody's different, so if you don't believe this applies to you, please pass through. Maybe it's time to sit down and assess the current role you're playing within your family and see whether or not you actually want to play that role for much longer. Whether or not it's time for a change started by you. Alrighty, thank you so much for actually listening. If you stayed to this part of the video, I sincerely appreciate it because this shit took so long. But I hope that it was worthwhile to watch, and if anything, it actually made you think about your own life more so than you probably already do if you stuck around this long. But seriously, thank you so much for watching the video. In the description box below, I've included all of the research articles I've used to cultivate whatever I just put on the screen, and also below will be a bunch of domestic violence and other hopefully helpful links to places that you can go to for advice or information for whatever your specific situation may be. A biento, and I'll see you soon. Bye.